Mike is my uh, college roommate and fraternity brother, and he is currently a cantor at a synagogue in northern New Jersey.
Oh, how nice.
Eh, So wait a second. This is Shabbos, and he's a cantor, and he's
Oh,
here.
yes, Mike will only be here for a little bit. He and his family will be walking over to Chabad in about half an hour, but he wanted to jump on and see what.
Super. Welcome, Baruch haba. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Great. We can get started now. Things look good. Um, a bunch of things. One, uh, October 7th. October 7th. I followed up on everything that you guys told me to do, and I have a note from Rabbi Joel Nickerson. Yes, we are going to have a serious event. It will be on the evening of October 7th in the Glazer Sanctuary. Details to come. So I'm glad we asked the question. I'm glad you pushed, and mostly I'm glad that Rabbi Nickerson answered immediately, which was delightful. And Cindy, please tell me about sisterhood and October 7th.
Well, first of all, we're having Shabbat dinner at Froman's next Friday. Susie chairs the evening. So if you would like to join us, everyone is welcome. Just let Susie know in the chat. We'd love to have you join us. What Sisterhood is doing in regards, we're having Sukkot probably at Resnick. It'll be a happy hour because we have to work around religious school. And Rabbi Nanis has a speaker who will be at Glazer in the morning and with us in the afternoon, who has, the title is Heroes of October 7th. He has inspiring stories of people who stepped up on that date, helped out, saved lives. It's not going to be a depressing stories. It's going to be inspirational and with the hope that we all have, but people who helped out and saved lives. And hopefully you'll join us. Information will follow closer. We'll have appetizers, Israeli appetizers, and a lovely Sukkot that afternoon, October 20th.
I should figure that Jews who are having a solemn observance of a terrible tragedy would also serve. I love it. Good hors d'oeuvres. That's great. Cindy, one thing confused me. You said that you're meeting during happy hour and school is on, so a bunch of
No, the religious school is in the morning. So we don't have access to the campus till all the cars have left.
Oh,
we used to do lunch, but now we have to do happy hour because that's when we have availability.
Okay, I had the picture of a bunch of drunken sisterhood ladies rolling around through the religious school. That was a bad image.
Well, there will be Prosecco.
Okay, terrific. So, first of all, October 7th at Wilshire, downtown Glazer, and that's going. And then Sisterhood's program. And of course, there are programs all over town now, all over town. But let's support our own. In the meanwhile, we have Rosh Chodesh coming up, the new moon. Okay, and the new month is the last month of the Hebrew calendar year. What is that? What is that? What is the name of the last month of the Jewish? Pardon?
Elul.
Elul. I'm not going to do the sermon on Elul, Elul, Dodiva, Dodili, and all that good stuff. But Elul, however, that's the month before Rosh Hashanah. I am pleased to announce that Mitch Dorf, the senior chauffeur blower at Wilshire, will be on Zoom with us every Shabbos morning during Elul, and we will have the chance to hear calls and the sounds of shofar. Okay? Mike, we know it's Shabbos. We know.
It's all
Okay.
right. It's okay.
But this is
Not
great.
helpful.
That's wonderful. So it's so great that we are now of such status that Mitchdorf said, "Sure, I'll sound shofar for the Chevra Torah." My God, that's a good group. So that'll be doing. I can't tell you what time. It's on what time he signs on, but somewhere between 9 and 10 o'clock, he will be with us. So that, shofar blowing, Mitchdorf. Another religious thing to announce, on October 28th, Barnes and Noble returns to the promenade. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. It's been a long time.
August 28th.
Lisa and I are going to go down there and just kind of witness the reopening.
August 28th, not October.
Now, this
October or August, which is it?
it's coming up. Don't expect me to remember.
August
August
28th.
28th. August
Next week.
28th. And I know that it starts at 10 a.m. Okay, now, this is a little bit difficult for me because you know that I am incredibly humble and modest. But that was a joke. Mara wrote a poem and she dedicated it to me.
Oh, how nice.
I don't know how nice it is until we hear it. Okay? But, okay, so Mara, are you here? I'm looking for Mara. Huh?
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Give me a second to get it.
I have it here. Okay. Would you like to read it? Mara?
Sure, I'd be honored to read it.
Okay.
So this was not only dedicated to, but inspired by Rabbi Davids. And it's called People of the Book. And you must not remain indifferent, which is from Deuteronomy 20 verse 22, 3. They had become agitated over how the ancient book often seemed to contradict itself. In the beginning, uninformed and void, they drank in his words. A mixed multitude, some sat in the uttermost part of the room and murmured with their purple-stained mouths. Lusting for ideas that would make them better, he led them through dark passages. They journeyed by crumbling statues of gods and goddesses, by the graffitied scrawl of history. Its holocaust of thought made them retrace their steps until an unsettling crossroad where Isaac and Ishmael wrestled. Ecclesiastes and Heisenberg rolled dice with certainty. Wiesel leaned over them, claimed to have seen the endangered Lord God bird, thought extinct since 1933, slowly descend. As the first day slipped into darkness, these seekers reached the limits of themselves, said simply, "Let there be love," and that was good enough.
Thank you.
Yofi.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your creativity.
Thank you for your inspiration.
Keep going. I'm in a good mood. Oh, Aviva just missed it. What a shame. Okay. Mara, I can't, not gonna keep going at it. I was deeply grateful when I heard that you had done this. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I see Tamara, an incredibly wonderful poem. Um, um, yeah. Okay. Abby, Bear, and I. Look at what we have. We have wonderful group of people. We have Kevin and his vehicle, Stan, Cindy, Rebecca, Merle, hi, Brad, Shabbat Shalom, Brad, Shabbat Shalom, but you're named as iPad. Okay, Steve Miller, Shabbat Shalom, Risa, hi, Bruce Miller, where are you? I can't see your name is blocking out your face. There you are. Okay. Herman Barnathan, hi, Shabbat Shalom. Doris, Shabbat oops, I skipped a line. Natalie Shapiro, Shabbat Shalom. Susie Giampisa, the coordinator for next Friday evening's dinner. Shabbat Shalom. Larry and Mike is missing, probably ran off to Chabad.
He needs to wrangle teenagers to get dressed and get ready to go.
Wrangle teenagers. Lynn Wertheimer, Shabbat Shalom, Lynn. Hi. Eric, Shabbat Shalom, my friend. Where are you?
I'm in beautiful New York now. I'll go to Florida November 15th. And I thank you for your recognition.
Very well.
Because you remind me of Uncle Phil. You remind me of Uncle Phil.
I know. Shabbat Shalom. Doris, hi. Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Mara and Harv, again, thank you guys. Mara, thank you. Harv, but thank you guys both. Diane Mendel, Shabbat Shalom, Diane. Carol Seidman, Carol, hi, Shabbat Shalom. Hi, Donna Shapiro, Shabbat Shalom. Marina, Shabbat Shalom. Tamara, Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow, let's get together. Oh, by the way, I'm bringing my book. I don't need a copy. I have the book. Okay? Abby Barron, Shabbat Shalom. Alina, Shabbat Shalom. Oh, there's more? Oh, God. Howard Weisberg, Shabbat Shalom. Jonathan Bailey, Shabbat Shalom, Jonathan. Hannah there. Sandra Nadich, Shabbat Shalom, Sandra. Karen Sarachik, I hope we'll be in touch this afternoon. Shabbat Shalom. Katie Mallon. Wow, Katie Mallon. This says Maya's phone. It isn't Maya, is it?
Shabbat Shalom.
It really is Maya?
Yeah.
You're in Germany, for God's sake.
Something like that.
I love you. Wow. Now we have an international program. Aviva, Shabbat Shalom, your daughter's in Germany. Okay, we are set. Let's get going. We're in the Sedra known as Akev. And if you want to follow, on page 1228 in the Plout, it's Deuteronomy 7:12 to 11:25. 7:12, page 1228. Now, one of the things I enjoy doing, and it probably is very boring, but every time we get into this part of Deuteronomy, I love to review with you the themes of Deuteronomy. They are extremely important. They reflect perhaps the latest stage of Torah development. And so there are themes here, major themes. Anyone want to toss in what you think one or two of the major themes might be in the book of Deuteronomy? In the book. Do we have any names? No, on hands? Okay, Donna, please.
Don't commit idolatry. Very bad.
Yes, The very bad is an addendum put on by Donna. Don't commit idolatry. Don't do that. I'll go on. What else are major themes in, okay, oh, it's a family thing. Natalie,
Don't be indifferent to things that are wrong.
don't be indifferent to
Different.
okay. Yes, yes. Others? Deuteronomy is so rich. Let me just go over the little list I put together. It's important because as you read the book, you keep bumping into these themes all through Deuteronomy. No idolatry, reward and punishment. That is to say, you do good, you get rewarded, you do bad, you are punished. And when you are suffering, you should understand it's because you did something wrong. Okay? So that's reward and punishment. That's a theme. Then possession of the land of Canaan is contingent. We are promised the land, but the only way we can possess the land is by being worthy tomorrow.
I just want to highlight that the reward and punishment are collective. It doesn't mean if you personally do something wrong, you get zapped. It's when I do something wrong, all of us suffer. So it's not a simplistic one-on-one reward on punishment.
Beautiful and very important. Beautiful and very important. But then you have collective responsibility. Certain. Okay. Next, God's role in the universe is unchangeable. God doesn't change. The covenant is either maintained or broken by us. God is unchanging. But the maintenance, if we foul up, break the covenant, that's on us. If we do well and preserve the covenant, that's on us. And in Deuteronomy, you have a renewal of covenant. Covenant is huge in Deuteronomy. It's huge. Okay? There's also a focus on the city that shall not be named. What city is that? What city is that? That focuses on Deuteronomy?
Jerusalem.
You bet. So
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem is there, the center of the worship situation, so forth, but they don't spend a lot of time talking about the city of Jerusalem. They talk about it as like an assumed understood, Jerusalem. Okay, so that was my collection of the major themes of Deuteronomy. And that's pretty serious. And if you hear in those themes, you hear very modern stuff, right? God is unchangeable. What happens in the world is on us. We learn the system, live within it, violate it, live with the outcome. It's on us. The other thing that I want to emphasize, because damn, I believe it's relevant today. Possession of the land is contingent. For those who believe that the Jewish people will always be protected in its occupation living in the land of Israel, that's not true. The land is ours so long as we deserve it. And boy, are there 14 sermons in that statement. What does it take to deserve the promised land? There are too many of our people who believe it's ours now and forever, no problem, no change. They are wrong in terms of the biblical understanding. They are wrong. Eric.
I believe Deuteronomy is like you having a bridge game with God. You have to review the bidding after you look at your bidding cards after you finish bidding, and then you know your game plan. So God is giving us a game plan when we get to the promised land, and to maintain it also.
But that's a perfectly good metaphor. Yes, that works. We have a game plan. And as many football teams have discovered, just because you're on the 5-yard line does not automatically mean that you score, right? You gotta keep working at that. That's beautiful. Please turn to page 724, 725, excuse me, not page, chapter 725.
What about the other book?
Yeah, I'll get to it, but it's Deuteronomy 7:25. Here we go.
7:25.
Anyone have where
1094.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's just look at this. To be very clear, you shall consign the images of their gods to the fire. You shall not covet the silver and gold on them. Keep it for yourselves, lest you be ensnared thereby, for that is abhorrent to the eternal God. You must not bring an abhorrent thing into your house, or you'll be prescribed like it. You'll be rejected. You bring something abhorrent into your house, you become identified with the abhorrent thing. It reminds me just a little bit of the portrait of Dorian Gray. But, you know, what we do makes a difference. And it does indeed. Idolatry, you know, you can even imagine there are some people who belong to religious institutions because of the glory of the buildings or the furnishings or the priest's robes and whatever else. And here's the statement: don't be that way, because you will be entrapped in idolatry. Don't be that way. Keep your minds clear. Okay. Any question before we go on? This is a renewal of the covenant. At the end, by the way, Deuteronomy loves what some believe are my extended family, the Kohanim. The role of the Kohanim, it's very clear that Deuteronomy is written at a later time when the king, Josiah, and priests have written this document or produced this document, which we now call Deuteronomy. And they are preserving their prerogatives. They're in charge. The king working hand in glove with the religious authority. No separation of church and state here. Okay, we're going to go on. The material is so ample. Now, here's an interesting question. Oh, Hera, did you have your hand up? I thought it waved. No. Okay. How do we know God cares for us? What is the most substantial proof in Deuteronomy and in Torah that God has a special connection with the Israelites, with the Jewish people? What is the setting for that proof of connection? Where is it? How do we prove God has a relationship with us? How do we know that? Okay, Donna, please.
He gave us the Torah on Sinai.
The funny thing is, that's not the reason.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now you can go home saying, well, he was wrong again. The revelation at Sinai is not the core factor. What is?
God is all forgiving.
Nope, that's not an event. I mean, that's just a theoretical.
He led us out of Egypt.
Yes, who said that? Who said
Brad.
that? Brad, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So God led us out of Egypt. We saw with our own eyes how God redeemed us. That is proof. So interesting that Ma'amad Har Sinai, the Mount Sinai experience, Donna, is not what most of Torah Bible rabbis refer to. You know, God loved us by giving us the Torah. Yeah, that's true. But God brought us out of Egypt, across the sea, through the wilderness, fought off the enemies, gave us food, water, over and over. The ongoing saga of the Israelite journey through Sinai is the ultimate proof that God cares for us. Now, that fact puts a real burden on us. The Torah makes clear your own eyes saw it. Fine. Okay? Most of the people who went through the Exodus are dead now. Actually, probably a large, maybe all of them. Okay? They're gone. God proved God's connection with us through the events of Exodus, if you will, the whole story, water from a rock, the whole thing. But the actual eye, the Torah says, your eyes have seen. Well, that's great to say to the last generation still in the desert. Their eyes saw. But after that, no. So what is the obligation based upon that really important perception? I see Marvin Hari, Harv and Mara, I can say this. Yes.
I think it's really interesting that what I take from that is that giving is receiving, the giving and receiving isn't important. It's what you do. It's what you do with what you're given.
Okay, I'm going to be hard pressed to say it isn't important. Hey, nice, God gave us Torah, fine. But you're right. Simply possessing it is almost a form of idolatry. If all you do is worship the principle, what is the obligation then on each and every one of us, Donna?
To remember.
But that's not enough.
Okay.
Now look, hey, being Jewish is demanding, Rabbi. It is demanding. Okay, Natalie's going to bail you out. Okay.
I think what's behind all of this is you better obey. You better obey, because if you obey, you will be rewarded. And if you disobey, you will be cursed. And that's behind all of the teachings in Deuteronomy.
It's certainly part of it. Certainly
all right, part of it.
So there's a phrase.
Herman has the hand up.
I'm sorry. Oh, Herman.
If you're saying that this is the most important thing, then I have two thoughts about it, if I may. Number one, in Genesis, God tells Abraham that he's going to put the Hebrew people into slavery. And secondly, why did he take 430 years to get us out of slavery.
Herman, have you ever felt busy in your work?
I beg your pardon?
Have you ever felt busy in your work?
Yes.
Picture God running the whole universe. There's a lot on the plate. The promise that they would be in slavery and the promise that they would be brought out, it makes a very interesting question. Why did they have to do it? And the rabbis talk about that the period of slavery was also a period of learning about the people, learning about relationships with God. It took time. A desert tribe does not become God's people, not overnight. Now, why 400 years? You got me. I can't, there are reasons, but they're made up reasons. I don't know. But the turning point of Jewish existence is the Exodus. There is a phrase in Hebrew that to me says it all. Vehigadata levanecha. The big mitzvah here, tell your children so that they can feel what? As if they went out of Egypt. By the way, Susie, that was very disconcerting, what you just did. Would you please walk back and do it again? Go ahead, walk back. Do it now. Get up, walk back and do what you just did. Susie, get up. Are you there?
Okay, what did I do?
No, get up, Susie. Stand up and retreat to where you just did that. Go ahead, walk back. There she is, ladies and gentlemen, walking on water.
Oh my gosh. In such a passage that I did it.
Whoa.
God gave me the ability to walk on water. Whoa. That's pretty special.
I have never been more impressed. I think that is astonishing. Okay.
Thank
Susie.
you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. I'm going to jump off the pier later on today.
No.
Take
And
a
watch
walk.
out because the apes are coming across the other side. Okay. Now, the signs and wonders, all that God did and continues to do, that's proof of our connection with God. And then if you look at chapter 9, verse 7, 9, verse 7, here.
What page?
On mine, 1232. Verse 7, remember, never forget, Zachor, al tishkach. God, is that a quintessential Jewish statement? Remember and don't forget. Know it and act upon it. Zachor al tishkach. It is not, we lost verse 7. Okay, remember, never forget how you provoked God to anger in the wilderness from the day that you left Egypt to this day. You have continued defiant toward the eternal. Moses is saying to the people, this is what your relationship to God is based on. This is how it started. This is how you did it. And mostly you did poorly. But telling the story, if we have, I wish, I know I couldn't in my congregation, if we could afford to pay religious school teachers what they deserve because of the burden of responsibility that they carry, we would have a very different community. We send our kids to religious school not merely to clear the house on a Sunday morning, but to bring them into an awareness that what happened to the Jewish people happened to them. Happened to them. To feel a sense of identity. And if all the kids learn is Shabbos is something people do on Saturdays, we miss the boat. Enough sermons, but it's there. Okay, your eyes have seen. Now, we're going to move into, because I love this chapter so much, we're going to turn to chapter 8, verse 3. Chapter 8, can we get to 8? Here's 8. Now we have to get to verse 3. Yes, verse 3, which is on my book 1230, 1230. Listen to this. God subjected you to the hardship of hunger and then gave you manna to eat, which neither you nor your ancestors ever known, in order to teach you. Here it comes, folks. Where did this phrase come from? Here it is. A human being does not live on bread alone.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
I remember that. I remember that. That's a phrase. Here it is. Lo belechem levado yichya ha'adam. People don't live on bread alone. They don't. Okay. I love it. I love the verse. God gave us manna, all this stuff. What happened in the wilderness? The clothes upon you did not wear out. Your feet didn't swell. God, I could use that blessing. The eternal your God disciplines you. Here it is. Just as a householder disciplines his son, and therefore keep the commandments of God. That phrase, God disciplines you as a parent, as a householder. There is a massive Jewish ethical perspective in that phrase. Something really important. Actually, much of this Sedra is really important. When you, okay, Cindy, go ahead.
I just find it interesting that it says householder, not a father.
That's fine. And if we look, you're right. And I sort of stumbled on that. Tell me again. Yeah. Verse 5. Yeah. Verse 5. Yadatim levavecha ki kasher yaser ish et beno. Householder is a translator's gift. Can't find it in the Hebrew. Okay? It says, know with your heart that just as a man, here it is, I'll do it the way it's written, punishes his son, God punishes you. Okay? It doesn't say householder.
Okay.
But it's been, I don't know, whatever. They did it. They put that in. Tamara?
There's one translator who has a whole thing about translating ish as different things at different times. And I personally don't think it's a good idea, but there it is.
Yeah, that goes back to something that Mara wrote. We live with a world in which some of the things that we encounter do not please us. And that's an interesting thing. Now, again, there is a concept. I'm going to give you the Hebrew, but don't be afraid of it. Yisurin shel ahava. The afflictions put upon us out of love. As a parent, have you ever explained to a child you are punishing them because you love them? You ever did that? Howard never did. No, you punish them without reason. Okay. Okay. Yisurin shel ahava. In the Jewish effort to understand evil, one of the offerings is Yisurin shel ahava. God afflicts us out of love so that we can grow better in God's sight. Be human beings. Okay? Any comment on Yisurin shel ahava? It's a big deal in rabbinic thought. What do you think about the fact that God's punishment, the pain we feel, the losses we suffer, are products of God's love for us? Donna?
God sure loves us a lot. That's all I can say.
That was a little bitter comment. Okay. Yeah. So it is. If you could only believe that every bad thing or most bad things that happen to you are sent by God out of love. Well, right? You have to have a certain form of faith. And if God sent it to you out of love, it's easy. Your obligation is to improve. Your obligation is to reach toward the norm. You have faltered. God, out of love, is punishing you so that you know. Any thought about Yisurin shel ahava, it is a major theme in Jewish theodicy, a major theme. We suffer because God loves us. Anyone else? Brad, how do you respond to that?
No,
I have something to say.
You've had a little bit of suffering, Brad. How do
yeah,
you
this is. I'm speechless. You should go on to someone else.
God, that's never happened. Okay, Marina.
I would like to quote Fiddler on the Roof, where Tevius says, God, I know we are the chosen people, but just for once, could you please choose someone else?
Yeah. Yeah, that works. But
so
you have to understand, there are within the Jewish community those who find that accurate and that's a source of consolation. I'm not mad at God. God wants me to get better. That's why all these things are happening. I will try to get better. And therefore I understand God's love is trying to bring me closer to God.
So I'm going to say something else.
Okay. Okay,
Yes, I'd like to say something else because it's very lovely to say all these pretty things. But when you think of our history, of all of the troubles we have had, and now in the United States and in Israel, it's very hard to see the love behind all of this. The passage in number 7, I know we can't go on to that because there are no answers really, and it'll take forever. But in chapter 8, number 7, where God is telling us, look at all the good things that he has given us, the figs and the pomegranates and the olive tree. And what he's saying there, I think, is look at all these good things I'm giving you. I don't want you then, now that you're so well off, I don't want you to forget me. I think that's what that means, that paragraph. So that makes sense. That's a beautiful passage. But to say that all of what we said before is not realistic in the world that we know and our past history. So I'd like to know what people have to say about that.
Open for conversation. Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, Tamara, please.
Yeah, this is enormously important, what you just said. Thank you. I think one of the things that makes it easier for me to live with Deuteronomy is that it gives people hope, because it says we have agency. History doesn't just happen, and it's not simply a world where the might makes right, but then you have opportunity and you have responsibility, and when bad things happen, you must have done something to cause it, but at the same time it's saying, but you can change that by changing your behavior. So this theology, which is so problematic, has within it the possibility of empowering people to say, okay, if this happened to me because of what I did, that can also happen if I change my behavior. So it can be empowering.
The only moving piece in earthly existence is our behavior. Choose this way, that way. It's our choices. And Yisurin Shalahava fits into that. And Harriet, it's tough. It's a very tough, but if you can understand the totality of Jewish thought, it's really in there. And it's possible to say, I'm glad it's in there, but I reject it. And okay, Ray?
Thank you. I appreciate both what you just had to say and the problem that Natalie raised as well. I'm going to say something, I'm afraid, a little possibly incendiary, and I promise I mean it with love and I mean it responsibly, and I'm not saying things I'm not saying, but it's hitting me now, so I'm putting it on the table just for us to be aware of, whether we agree or disagree. But the verse that Natalie pointed us to, chapter 8, verse 7.
Yes, page 1230, yes.
A land of wheat and barley, vines, figs, pomegranates, olive trees, and honey, and all of this. Look at all the good things that God is doing you. And Natalie's problem and mine with the paradox of terrible things that happen in our world. I can't also help but notice, and again, I apologize and I am not debunking Torah, but I'm noticing a family resemblance here, so bear with it, between this kind of talk in that chapter 8, verse 7, and the kinds of things that now therapists caution us to recognize in the speech of abusive householders and spouses and things like that. Where are you going to go? Look what I do for you. I give you this, I give you money, I give you food, I give you a roof over your head and all of that. I'm not saying that is the central message of Torah, but I can't turn my eyes away from a similar dynamic that I observe. I don't have a solution for it. I already know this is not a perfect book, but I put that out there because I see the resemblance and it challenges me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Do we have another comment? This is way important. Okay, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rabbi. This is what you said last year about this Parsha.
I didn't mean it.
Huh? This is a mitzvot system of salvation.
mitzvah system of salvation. Yes. Yes. Salvation, repairing our relationships with God, is contingent upon fulfilling the mitzvot. Yes. Yes. Now, I want, just because life is simple and we've run out of time, and this is an incredible chapter, I want to turn quickly to chapter 7, verse 16. 7:16.
Page.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. I may have this wrong. Wait, let me find it.
You shall destroy. Is that where you're going?
No. This, all right, I have lost the verse, but it is really important because in this Sedra, God reminds the people they are going in to occupy the land, and you are to destroy the people who live there. And my little note to myself was,
You have the right verse.
do I have it? Is that
You shall devour the peoples.
what
Yeah,
verse?
but it can also start at the very beginning of 7.
Okay, thank you. I got a little mixed up. Okay.
Verse 16, Rabbi.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it. Listen to this. You shall destroy all the peoples that the eternal God, thank you, folks, delivers to you, showing them no pity. Don't worship their gods. If you say these people are more numerous, don't worry. I'm going to work with you. You saw what I did out of Egypt. You will stand before your enemies and wipe them out. Then verse 22, which reminds me that this book was written with a little bit of political insight. The eternal your God will dislodge those people before you little by little. You don't put an end to them all at once, else the wild beasts will multiply to your hurt. The eternal your God will deliver them up to you, throwing them into utter panic. Listen, until they are wiped out. You shall obliterate their name. None shall stand up before you. Which way to raise the question. Any of you ever heard of genocide? Is this not a genocidal mitzvah?
We heard of genocide in Numbers.
Howard, did you say something? I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
We already heard of genocide in Numbers and other places. So this isn't the first place.
It is not the first place. But damn, it is clear. It also was clear that the land was never empty. We didn't go into an empty land. Here it is. We dispossessed the people who were there first. I don't mean that as a neo-colonialist screed, but the land wasn't empty. The United States wasn't empty. Europe wasn't empty. That's the story of humankind. To push out Marva and Harvey.
So all the mitzvot that we are taught to do, they don't apply to everyone. Is that what we're being told.
Does anyone else have another question? Mara, you're correct. The rabbis will say, when it says, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, they weren't talking about foreigners. Lisa, please. Mara, you're right.
I just a comment that if that is truly what is meant in Torah, if I truly believe that, I would have great difficulty being a Jew.
Okay, Tamara, bail me out. Come on.
Well, I don't know that I can bail anyone out of this one, but these are specific nations. This is not all others. This is focused on, here are these people, and these laws apply to these 7 nations who live in the land. It doesn't mean that you no longer have responsibility towards people who are elsewhere. So these are the people who live in the land that I'm giving you. Don't mingle, don't compromise. I, God, will get rid of them, but you too, you must not let them stay with you or marry them or any of that or worship with them. So it's very specific to enmity towards these 7 nations. And later on, Judaism is going to try to decide what to do with it. Since most of those nations no longer exist, then this no longer applies, is one of the answers.
So can I ask where Gaza would fall? Are they one of the peoples who are not included in these nations we're supposed to annihilate?
We're not supposed to annihilate anyone else except these 7 nations.
And no,
it's not clear if we are doing it or God is doing it. What we have to do is destroy their sanctuaries and worship places, and we are not. It starts at 7:1. Do not marry them, do not have anything, do not enter into covenant, don't mix up with these 7 people, because they are more than you and they will lure you away from God. So it's not just, well, I don't like them, it's a very specific thing. Now, it doesn't do away with the problem. With respect to those 7 people, you are not supposed to have mercy. And as I said, the rabbi solved it by saying, well, those 7 nations don't exist. There are no Canaanites, etc., etc. There are no Hittites, there are no Amorites, there are no Perizzites. So we are not expected to destroy anyone else. These people are gone.
Okay, well, unfortunately, can you believe it? We are out of time. And
but Teresa was on, and sorry.
Lisa was on, and Steve, but please keep them short.
I'm troubled like Mara, but it seems to me that way back when, at the time this was written, we believed that God being one was our God, not everybody's God. We've progressed to a more monotheistic view, and there's one God and he's everybody's God, even though other people may not see him the way we do. And it seems to me, doesn't that alter this whole equation?
Okay, Risa?
I like the God better who said, I like the God better who said, don't rejoice that the Egyptians are drowning, they're my people too.
Mm.
And then Amos has so much clarity to that. Haloch ivnei kushim atem li b'nei Israel. You're just like the Ethiopians. You're just like everybody else. You are a people. All peoples are mine. And Amos, moves past this. But I'm going to blame this passage on Mara because she wrote in her poem that there are things which are deeply troubling. And it's the job of the student to understand. And this passage is not to be understood without the context that Tamara provided. It's what has to happen before the Israelites can claim the promised land. And those nations, now no longer in existence, had to disappear. Mara, that doesn't mean that when I finish saying what I'm saying, I'm comfortable with the passage. I am not.
Well, Rabbi, can I say something real quickly? I
Sure.
think what's important here is the context. It's the context of idolatry. And this is an embryonic religion seeking to protect itself from that threat.
I accept that. That's a reasonably, really important thought. We're going to stop now. Would you please hold on to your questions and we'll get back to them next year. Love you, folks. We're going to do Kaddish now, okay? We're going to do Kaddish. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I'm not prepared to be challenged yet. Okay. Preparing now for Kaddish. Those who have passed away during the past month: Lillian Aber, Pamela Brenman, Cyrus Farzam, Hillard Haley Gordon, Peter Gordon, Anthony Gross, Simon Max Kaplan, Samantha Sammy Lieber, John Melnick, Meryl Podolsky, Rita Resnick, George Schenk, Charles Schwartz, Rosalind, Roz Weissman, Gloria Van. And those, the anniversaries of whose deaths have occurred during this past week: Milton Abrams, Yaakov Oloni, Axel Anderson, Alan Baker, Abraham Barman, Henry Baum, Theodore Baum, Charles Bendit, William Bernstein, Pauline Bernstein, Erton Blinfeld, Irene Coden Black, Marjorie Ann Boville, Henry Brandler, Ned Rowdy, Derek Brownlee, Burns, Linda Lee Chesler, Corinne Cohen, Jenny Cohan, Zena Davis, Charles Solomon Denkart, Irving Elgier, Norman Fields, Francis Glass, Nicole Ann Harrow, Richard Hawley, Robert Hazlett, Edward Heyman, Myra Holtzman, Max Eisenberg, Iran Esther Ishtam, Moses Israel, Tony Karp, Bell Kessler, Irving Knight, Shelley Cram, Leah Lask, Carrie Levitt, Sylvia Leff, Sandra Elise Lerner, Alfred Levine, Chuck Levy, Esther Levy, Florence Lewin, Ava Grass, Lita Tautish, Leah Towich, Stephen Litt, Evelyn Lyons, Elliot Maltzer, Justine Mandelbaum, Max Margolis, Jack Morton Matloff, Henry Miner, Pauline Menine, Helen Miller, Marge Moore, Homa Navid Bauha, Shirley Orenstein, Eli Persky, Soretta Portnoy, Franklin Pohl, Betty Predovich, Herta Roberts, Marilyn Roberts, Ann Wesley Rolston, Alvin Rosenthal, J. Armin Roth, Eugene Rubin, Francoise Rudy, Alvin Saltzman, Sheldon Sanders, Joseph Sandler, Jack Schuster, Jerome Schwartz, Irving Schwartz, Rhoda Shrelo, Marty Siegel, Mark Siller, Meryl Silverstein, Lawrence Snyder, Phyllis Steinberg, Gertrude Steinberg, Betty Strauss, Gabina Sussman, Sue Temple, Benjamin Titleman, Isaac Torbatel, Jean Whitney, Bud Yorkin, Adele Israel Zales, Elaine Zane. If there are other names to be remembered at this time, please speak their names out loud or carry them in your hearts. We remember as well all those who died in defense of the state of Israel, all those who died in defense of the United States of America, all those who died through senseless acts of brutality and cruelty, those for whom no one is left, said, hey, Kaddish. We embrace them all with our love, and we join together in Kaddish. Yit Gadal, Kadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Yalma Divrashem, Family Kalapate,
B'chayei
Al Beit Yisrael,
B'zman Karev,
Imru Amen,
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah
Rabba.
B'chol, Amen.
Aleinu
Yaakov.
V'imru
Amen.
Oseh Shalom.
Nimroma. Shalom. Aleinu Israel. V'imru. Amen.
Now I can close with Oseh Shalom B'imru Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu v'Yalkol Yisrael V'imru. Amen.
Amen.
May God, who makes peace in the high places, make peace in our hearts, make peace in our homes, make peace in the household of Israel, make peace among all the families and nations of earth. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for the last comment. It made me feel at peace.
Thank you for teaching us.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. God willing, we'll see each other next week. God willing.
Shabbat Shalom.
This was wonderful. Shabbat Shalom. Bye.
Bye-bye.